Hey there, I hope you're doing well. My name is Adam and today we're going to look at some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy Reddit stories, consider liking, subscribing, and maybe hitting that notification bell too. Let's get started with today's first story. Much love, everyone. Today's first story comes from Instagram ruined my relationship and made me hate my girlfriend. I have that I want to work on. If someone can point me in the right direction, first and foremost, I know I am shallow, very shallow. I see this as a character flaw of mine, and if I could remove my shallowness surgically, I would. My working theory of why I am shallow is because girls didn't really go for me growing up. Everybody got girlfriends around me, but I didn't. So as I got older, I got fixated on improving the things I couldn't prove. So I started exercising all the time and researched fashion and spent a lot of money on clothes. I also think that because I didn't get girlfriends before, I sort of hyped it up that I needed to have the best girlfriend to justify all the years of wanting. But as I got older, my looks and physique improved, and I could get dates and girls, and I got to the point that it was no longer an issue. I know this kind of post makes me sound like an aholi, but again realize that this is all internal. So whatever my potential dates experience is completely detached from this part of me that I am showing to you. I have tried to date a lot of girls based purely on appearance, and it never worked out. As I was doing it, it never felt worth it. I started to see that you need to have more in common than just physical attractiveness. Then I found the girl I am now in a relationship with. We have been together for 1.5 years, and the relationship is effortless. We have lots in common. She is super into me and expresses it so daily. She says I'm the love of her life. We have never really had a fight. She is open-minded and wants to try new things, something that I really like. For the most part, I think my girlfriend is beautiful. As a shallow man, I wouldn't have gone on more dates in the beginning if her looks threw me off. I have done so countless times before. So what is happening now? I see it more like me being ill and not that I am seeing reality anyway. I sometimes think my girlfriend is ugly, and it's in fleeting moments. Then she looks like herself again. I think my brain is sick from all the people we can see on social media as well. It compares her to these photoshopped, airbrushed, surgically enhanced individuals, and I don't know why. It's causing me misery, and I don't understand why. My brain has to invent this right now, and I haven't felt like this until now. I know my post is vague, so I'll try to make a concrete question. Like I know this is the girl I want to stay with. I have had enough experience with others to know that it's someone like her I need in my life, and not some Instagram girl. But I just wish my brain would stop causing me these moments of upset. Is there anybody out there that was shallow, but then found some method to work on it? Like the ultimate goal for me would be to be satisfied with this relationship. If I could press a button that guaranteed that this relationship worked for life, I would press it without hesitation. Well, OP, the first thing I would say is that I think it's great that you acknowledge and understand that being shallow is not a positive trait and that you want to try to work on it. Maybe the fact that you are like subconsciously comparing your girlfriend to these fake people that you see on Instagram is an indicator that you need to get off that platform. I think my problem is that I can't relate to your problem because I don't have Instagram. I don't use the application, and I barely ever post anything on social media, so I really don't have that need for likes and shares and that stuff, except on my YouTube videos, because yeah, that helps other people to see them. Anyway, let's move on to the update, and we're going to skip the community comments because OP references one community comment that he says is helping him a lot. I want to say thank you to those who replied. I created that post sort of hoping for replies that I was the issue and not that if this happens, then you're not attracted enough, so break up. I think the explanation that I am obsessed with my own appearance and that I project my insecurities on my girlfriend rings very true to me. I know you shouldn't Google doctor yourself, but I can admit that I fit the description on many criteria for being a narcissist. I got one super good reply that I started implementing. This is it for those who want to know. Ancient Custard 6208 says, okay, so I have sort of a bit of experience coming from the same place as you, and I kind of understand what you're going through. I even had to ask my friends if they thought the person I was dating was ugly or if it was just me, and it really was just me being a piece of crap. First of all, I think it would be really healthy to get off social media for a while and kind of do a detox. That helped me out a lot. It literally gives you unrealistic standards and causes you to focus on the wrong things. The second thing that helped me a turn was every time a thought that was negative about my partner's appearance entered my mind, I would try to see their beauty in that moment as well. Humanity is not perfect, we are anything but that, and I think there are beautiful moments all the time, so take time to appreciate the imperfections, because they are beautiful and are what makes us unique. There is beauty in our flaws, the bags under her eyes in the morning, or the way your tummies pooch out after you two eat a big meal, or the way her face grunges up when she laughs. These are tender, wholesome moments. And the fact that you can be this close and see this person in their most raw form, vulnerable and intimate, is so very refreshing. Outside of this fake, perfect Instagram life, we look at every day on the screen, so drink in the nectar of her reality, and let it warm your heart, because each day is fleeting, and when you look back at these moments, you wouldn't want to remember a cold, poised, and always glamorous ideal. You want real, unadulterated love, flaws and all. Finally, try to ponder exactly what ugly means to you. Is ugly less than perfect? Do you often judge yourself as well? At the end of the day, beauty is subjective, and the standard of beauty is constantly evolving. I used to think unibrows were the most disturbing and ugly thing ever. Then, I met a girl who was actually quite beautiful and had a unibrow, and I don't know, after that, they just weren't so bad anymore. LOL, it kind of became an endearing thing rather than a total turnoff, and the way she owned it, it was a whole mood. So, do I think you can't get better? Yes, I do, with some perspective change. I think you will be able to enjoy this relationship even more than you do right now. All it takes is a little more focus on being mindful and present. In reality, working along with a therapist would also be a great start to get ahead. End quote. Op continues, and after doing that, these flashes of ugliness have gone away. Opie's edit. Thank you all so much for all the replies. It has been very interesting to read about again. I don't think I have narcissistic personality disorder. If it's a spectrum, I am narcissistic enough for it to be a problem in my life. Some say I'm insecure and anxious with intrusive thoughts, and that may as well be it. Whatever it is, though, it's my problem, and I am looking into therapy. I prefer it to be my problem, since I have left so many relationships before, and this time, I really want to stay with her, but my brain F's with me in the way that I talked about in the previous post. Welp, it's great to know that the community came through for you, and this one Redditor gave you the advice that you were looking for, and that's actually helping you out. So keep going, and hopefully, you'll be able to overcome your shallowness and start enjoying your life fully with the partner that you've chosen. All the best, Op, and now how about we move on to another post? This one's from user Thor442. Me 36 male, married to my wife, 36 female, 11 years, and I can't stop thinking about a girl I dated for 1 month 16 years ago. I have what I consider to be a good, healthy relationship with my wife. For some reason, though, I recently am unable to stop thinking about a girl I dated 16 years ago for the entirety of a month. The relationship was normal for two 20-year-olds. We liked to low-key hang out and have lots of physically intimate moments. The relationship ended abruptly one day. She and I hung out with a group of people on a Saturday night, did our normal at-home thing, then got up Sunday and went to a friend's college graduation party. Then, as I remember it, she seemed super distant and just up and left. That was the end of it. I remember at the time I took the breakup really hard. Called off work 3 days, got super drunk, cried to my friends. The other night, I had a dream about her, and in the dream, I kept calling her the one that got away. I know that isn't true in any sense of the word. We definitely both went completely different directions in life. As far as I know, I don't really know much about her as we completely stopped talking at the end of our relationship and never stayed friends. Ever since that dream, I have been rehashing those 4 to 5 weeks 16 years ago over and over again in my mind. It's driving me nuts and I am not sure how to bring this up to my wife or even if I should mention it. I've read a few self-help articles saying that this all really points to me just never getting closure in the relationship. Any and all advice would be greatly appreciated. OP. The first thing I would say is that if you do want to talk about this with your wife, I'm not sure I would bring up the girl now. I understand that this sounds like I'm recommending Opie to lie by omission, but the thing is, I don't think Opie's problem has to do with this one girl in particular. I mean, let's face it. He never really got to know her. He dated her for 4 to 5 weeks 16 years ago, never spoke to her again. We could say that they basically never spoke during the relationship as they low-key hung out and had lots of intimate moments, and that was it. You don't really get to know somebody in that amount of time and almost never talking, so I don't think this is a closure thing with that relationship in particular. That's why I think bringing up this girl in a conversation with your wife might derail the conversation and just take it somewhere you really don't want to go. Unfortunately, this is just my theory because I'm not an expert in this field. So how about we move on to the community comments to see what they have to say and then we'll move on with the update. Normality is Restored says, don't mention this to your wife. This is your midlife crisis problem to deal with. You are fearing aging and fearing growing older with things undone. This isn't about that girl 16 years ago. It's about you worrying about all the things you haven't done with your life. Therapy for you, or learn to deal with the fact that you are going to get older and there will always be other things that you can't be a part of. Bama 10 says a lot of the time, it's easy to romanticize something that happened forever ago because you forget about the bad parts and all the reasons that person wasn't meant for us. Just remember that it ended for a reason, and you love your wife. Neat Marionetka says, don't mention it to your wife. Odds are in another month, this girl will have completely left your mind, but your wife still might be anxious if you tell her. This means literally nothing besides that you're temporarily stuck going. What if it's not about this girl at all? She would be a total stranger to you now and was pretty much a total stranger to you while you were dating her for barely enough time for a mouse to gestate a litter. It's not even about the lack of closure. What closure do you need from something that barely began? You are just in a rut we sometimes get into where your life is good, but you wonder if it could have been better. Concentrate on what you have, and if you have areas of dissatisfaction, think of ways to improve those in the future. With the weather warming up, see if you can get out of the house and do something with your wife. Stay safe though, and don't give these thoughts more weight than they actually have. Opie responds, she would be a complete and total stranger. I don't recall ever seeing her on social media over the years when I used it. I literally have nothing more than a small inkling of what she is doing as a career currently, and nothing more. Regarding being in a rut, I had just mentioned this to my wife yesterday that she and I need to get out, just us, and do something. Okay, well, it sounds like Opie got some pretty solid advice. I have to say I honestly never even considered the midlife crisis thing, but then again I always thought the midlife crisis was something a man goes through in his 50s and tries to buy a sports car or something like that. But that's just me being ignorant. Anyways, let's move on to the update to see what Opie did. So, I mentioned to my wife vaguely that I was having a bit of a midlife crisis and ruminating on my past a bit too much, that I missed how I was physically at my peak in college. She said she is also having a bit of a crisis, worried about long-term health and missing the shape she was in before kids. We made a commitment to each other to get into shape and have changed our eating habits and bought a treadmill. I have been working out daily, and my rumination issues have really dwindled. We also planned a nice vacation and a few get-togethers with friends in the next few months. Well, it sounds like Opie managed this pretty well. He was able to tell his wife what was going on, in his head, without giving too much detail that could derail the conversation, and this allowed his wife to open up about having similar issues. And now they're doing something together, which I think is great. So all that's left to say is all the best to you and your wife. I'm going to turn this one over to you. What do you make of this situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, support, and time mean the world to me. So, thank you so much for being part of this. I really appreciate your time. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.